Today, I'm kicking off a short series on SEM resolution with what might sound like a slightly dramatic title: The Unwanted Finish Line, Chasing Sub 1 NM Resolution. Why this topic? Well, mostly because of the persistent misconceptions that seem to pop up in marketing slides and technical talks about the so-called next steps in SEM development. After almost 3 decades spent in semiconductor metrology, I've seen this discussion circle around so many times that it feels like déjà vu. So, consider this series less a revelation and more of a reality check. I'll look at the basic concepts, the common misconceptions, and why sub 1 NM resolution isn't the magical breakthrough it's sometimes painted to be. And don't worry, defect metrology engineers, you can breathe easy. This isn't your headache. The 10x rule and why it doesn't quite fit. Metrology has a neat little rule of thumb. To measure a feature of size x accurately, your tool's resolution should be at least x/10. That's the so-called 10x rule. You'll find it in places like the American Society for Quality, YesQ. It makes perfect sense in everyday examples. If you're measuring a 10-centimeter line with a ruler marked only in centimeters, you'll know it's about 10 centimeters, but you can't tell if it's 9.9 or 10.1 centimeters. Switch to a millimeter-marked ruler, 10x finer, and suddenly your measurement becomes trustworthy. In SEM history, this rule seemed to apply fairly well. 5 nm beam resolution used for 500 nm, 1 m nodes, 3 nm beam resolution for 100 nanometers nodes, 1.2, 1.35 nm for sub 16 nm nodes. So naturally, the industry chorus grew louder. We need sub 1 NM SEM resolution now. But here's the catch. Just because a pattern holds for a while doesn't mean it's a universal law. The optical overlay paradox. If the 10x rule were absolute, optical overlay tools wouldn't stand a chance in advanced nodes. After all, they rely on visible/near IR light, where diffraction limits resolution to hundreds of nanometers. Yet, somehow, they deliver sub-nanometer overlay precision. Think TMU 1 nm or less. How? Because they're not measuring features directly. They're measuring relative alignment. Advanced algorithms, clever target design, and signal processing allow them to sidestep the apparent physical resolution limits. This is a good reminder. SEM isn't a feature measuring machine either. It's really an edge detector, counting the distance from one detected edge to another. That difference in perspective changes the rules of the game. A better guiding principle, Nyquist-Shannon. Instead of the 10x rule, let's turn to the Nyquist-Shannon sampling theorem. It says that to reconstruct a continuous signal faithfully, you need to sample it at least twice the highest frequency it contains. Applied to SEM, a feature's profile is like a signal. Edges aren't perfect steps. They have slope, roughness, and noise. Low-frequency components describe the overall feature shape. High-frequency components capture edge roughness and sharpness, and unfortunately, a lot of SEM self-noise. To truly capture a feature's profile, we need to resolve those high-frequency details, up to a cutoff point where it's no longer about the feature, but about the instrument's own noise. And that's where the conversation about sub 1 NM resolution gets interesting and a little uncomfortable. To be continued. That's enough for part 1. Next time, we'll dive deeper into how resolution, sampling, and stability really interact, and why achieving sub 1 NM resolution might not give you the stability or confidence you actually need. Until then, please feel free to share, comment, and challenge. After all, metrology without debate is just marketing.